Welcome to the Transplaining Podcast. This is a space where we have real conversations about real experiences focused on uplifting and understanding the transgender community. Our purpose here is to share stories, provide resources, and help create greater awareness and compassion. Because of that, some of the topics we discuss may be sensitive. We may talk about things like discrimination, mental health, identity struggles, or personal experiences that can be deeply emotional. These conversations are important because they shine a light on challenges that are often overlooked, and they help us move toward understanding and change. We want you to know that we will approach all of these subjects with the utmost care and sensitivity. Our goal is not to shock or sensationalize, but to provide space for honesty and healing. So before we begin, let's take a moment real quick to talk about triggers. A trigger is something, often a word, a story, or even a memory that can cause a strong emotional reaction. For some people, triggers may bring back past trauma or difficult feelings. We always do our best to provide content warnings so you can take care of yourself while listening. Please understand that today we will most likely cover some topics such as discrimination in different areas, sexual abuse, sometimes referred to as SA, or suicidality, or SI. We want to be clear that we will approach these topics with the utmost sensitivity. We will not be sharing any graphic details, but rather focusing on ways to support healing and raise awareness. With that being understood, I am Daphne, and let me introduce my co-host, Bear.
Hi, Bear here.
Bear here.
Bear here. And today we are joined by DJ Heath, a social worker who works directly with individuals and families in our community. And correct me if I'm wrong, DJ, social workers are professionals who help people navigate challenges in their life, and whether it's connecting resources or providing counseling or advocacy for people in need.
Simplified, yeah, basically. Social worker kind of has like their hands in everything, including policy work, mental health, everything, case management. Yeah, case management. There's so many things social workers do.
Okay, and so today we're just going to focus on how social workers support in the trans community and how they can help make a difference. Mm-hmm. And honestly, starting with you, can you please tell us about your background and how you became a social worker?
So it started a long, long time ago when, so I have my undergraduate in psychology. So I got my bachelor's in psychology, and then I got my master's in social work from the University of Oklahoma in 2023. So I've only been working as a social worker for the last 2.5 years, something like that. And now I work as a outpatient therapist with clients throughout Oregon.
Okay. And for those who just might not know, what exactly does a social worker do? And how is that different from a counselor or general therapist?
That's such a hard question because like social workers can be therapists.
Oh.
So like there's like a clinical social worker, like a LCSW is like that's their licensure. So they're licensed to be a clinical social worker, which so they provide the like therapy in different types of settings, from like hospitals to outpatient to prisons to schools.
Just like you said, have their hands in everything.
Yep, everything.
All right.
What was it that made you want to go into this kind of work?
It started like during my own therapy as a teenager. I worked with a really good social worker at the time, and like her voice kind of stayed in my head throughout the years. And then when it came time to maybe like, what do I want to do? I was like, oh, maybe I could have that effect on somebody else. So I kind of stuck it out until I got here.
That's interesting, and it's nice that you had that kind of support in a way that really built you up to a point that you're like, you know what, this is what I want to do. I know that that's the same pattern as to why this podcast even started was when I came out. I I was looking for a podcast like this. I listened to a lot of podcasts at the time, and I needed something that talked about what being transgender was like and how to work through that and how to be trans, and just all these different spaces. I grew up in a heavily religious area, and so there was not only the coming out and feeling the fear and the experience of all that, but then also walking away from the community that I had. And so it just left this big hole, and I didn't have any kind of information about how do we move from there, and it was so hard for me. And so the purpose of this podcast ended up being that was I needed this, but hey, you know what, other people can have this too. So it kind of follows the same pattern.
Oh yeah. Community is like the biggest part of things to kind of help like navigate any type of world.
I love that. In your work, can you, I guess, more go into what it is you specifically do? Because then you said that the therapy and counselors and social workers are all different, but some of them overlap other ones. So can you go more into like specifically what you're covering?
Geez, it's hard to explain because I think it just kind of comes down to licensure, like what kind of license a person has.
Okay.
So like counselors can be therapists, but therapists aren't counselors or something like that. It gets very confusing.
Rectangle.
Yeah, it is very confusing. But at least in my experience, like so I'm currently working towards my licensure. So I'm an associate. But I can still like practice like therapy with clients. I can engage in different therapy modalities.
Right.
It's just a licensure language.
So it sounds like the job is pretty much the same across the board.
That's what it's like. Yeah, that's what it has always seemed like to me because it's always been like interchangeably used, anyways. And like even like with other providers that I talk to, they interchange it as well.
Right. So in the work that you're doing, can you go ahead and talk about some of the clientele that you're working with? Like, is it LGBTQ people specifically that you're working with, or is it what is it that you're working with? Who?
So I work mostly with adults. It's not just by the LGBTQIA. Haha.
TS plus.
Yeah. It's not just with them. I work with I work for all sorts of variety from ages of 14 to in their 60s. It's not one. Yeah, it's a very wide range. It's so much fun though.
All walks of life.
Yeah, pretty much.
So what is it that you're seeing some of the biggest challenges that trans people are dealing with today?
A lot of it is the political climate. That comes up quite a bit on how do I navigate it. People talk about ways how they can hoard a supply of the hormone therapy and coming up with the plans with that just in case they end up losing that.
That's a really big concern right now.
Yeah.
There's being a, I don't know, Bear. I'm trying to think of the words I'm looking for here, but there's a lot of measures that are being put into play. I guess
federally,
sure.
Which is very different than organs as well.
I do like how you said political climate.
Yes.
I do like that, and I'm stealing that. I do like that.
Do it.
What is it you're liking about that?
I've just never heard it said that way, political climate. Yeah.
Because it changes like the weather.
Yeah, it sure does.
Sometimes it's sunny and sometimes it is a snowstorm with a bunch of ice covering everything.
Sounds like our weather in the PNW.
Yeah, a little bit. A little bit.
Just totally.
In your experience, what has been or what are the most common barriers as far as legal, medical, or social that trans people run into?
I think the most things that I hear is a lot of it's financial, especially like trying to access like mental health care as long as well as like other gender affirming care. Even if they have insurance, the co-pays for some of it can be things that they can't afford. Um, but here's the thing that I learned because I wanted to make sure I had accurate information. Oregon is required to provide gender affirming care.
Yes.
Like through all health insurance that
Correct.
practice within Oregon, they have to provide gender affirming care.
Correct.
However, I don't think it limits on how much that costs outside of OHB. I couldn't find any information on that part, so they can charge higher copays and deductibles and all that insurance crap.
That's fair. I read the law about it. I don't think there is any mention in the law that states there's a limit on that. Maybe we don't want that information getting out there.
Maybe.
But it's something to like interesting to look at because I didn't like specifically like go through like all the information, but what I was able to skim through, I was like, private insurance can charge basically what they want and pay however much they want, but because they're providing it and they cover a portion of it.
That's fair. Can we backtrack a little bit? Go back to the question about the political climate.
Oh yeah.
You said being or hoarding hormones is something that comes up quite a bit. And you said there's other concerns. I know like the trans people are being pushed out of the military. I am blinking so hard. Trans people in sports. All these things are being pushed and they're making a really big statement. What is it that you're doing or helping, or maybe you're not? I don't know where your work goes. It comes in here, but like what are some things that can be said and done to help them feel more comfortable in the political climate? Because I know a lot of trans people are really scared about that.
Yeah, like definitely like building that community that like even that you were looking for, right? Just having that community around you so that way you know you have that safe place. That is going to be probably the strongest one because that's going to help build that resilience. Oops, sorry. That's going to help build up that the resilience for when like things change negatively in order to have that support to help deal with it, and as well as like coping skills and all the therapy stuff.
I mean, but I don't know. In my head, I'm thinking if all you do is just run to the space where everybody's doing the same, doesn't that create more anxiety? If all the anxiety is huddling in a place?
Well, it's not about like running into a place, but it's having like that person who has that understanding.
Right.
Like, and because like I am a cis woman, I do not know. Like, I don't have that understanding. So even though I can do what I can from my experience, their experience is going to also be different. So
for the people that don't know what a cis person is, a cis woman is, can you explain that?
A cis woman is somebody who aligns with the sex that they were born with.
And sex being different than?
Gender, yes. So sex is more of the biological side of things. So like the XY, what is it? XX.
X.
Yeah. And all the variations.
A, B, C, and D.
Yeah, essentially. And then like gender is more like the social construct of the current society. So like the different gender roles.
And those aren't the same?
Those are not the same, no.
Okay.
One is given based on biological factors. The other is given based on those factors, on the biological factors.
One's biological, one's social.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. So as a cis woman, then you're saying you're not having the same experience, and so you can provide what comfort, but that's not enough.
So sometimes like that's like my like kind of how I feel sometimes, because like I can't share that experience like I can with somebody who has like experienced like anxiety, depression, and ADHD and all those little things that I have myself, but I can share in those experiences and guide them in the way that I would hope would be helpful. I believe that having people that you're able to relate to is beneficial because then that way you don't feel so isolated
Not
and
alone.
alone.
Yeah.
And so that kind of helps build like, oh yeah, like I this is my safe person or my safe people, my safe group. And so like even though you're all anxious about everything, it can also be a calming place.
Right. That makes sense. Um, what are some things that, as a cis person, you can do, or that you do to be that person that's there for them, anyways? Help them not feel so alone.
I sit with them as much as they let me to, because it's I'm not going to share something like I'll sit with them as they have that experience, so they're not by themselves and they have that support person, and I can walk them through that process, and like share skills that could help, and like have them practice the skills and all that stuff.
Is there a specific skill you could just share right now that might, like if someone's listening right now and goes,
Yeah.
man, I could use something like that, can you just share an example?
Yeah, well, it like the main thing that, especially when it comes to like a coping skill, I love box breathing.
What is that?
It's a breathing technique where you breathe in for however long you can, you hold it for however long as you can, breathe out as long as you can, hold as long as you can, and just kind of repeat that.
Right.
So it kind of helps like regulate that breathing, so you're not like trying to hyperventilate, especially if you're like on the verge of a panic attack. So like if they're panicking or they're anxious or they're just like, I am so overwhelmed, I don't know what to do, then that could be a helpful skill for them, if that's something that works for them. But it's navigating which skills would work for them, because one ain't one fits all, sadly.
I am familiar with box breathing. I always called it square breathing.
Yeah,
Where,
square box.
yeah, square box, same shape.
Yeah.
And when when I use that, it's mine's 4 seconds.
Yeah.
4 seconds in, and I like to hold it for 4 seconds and then out and repeat. And I do notice a big difference.
Yeah.
It is so it's relieving and it's calming and soothing.
Yeah.
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 My favorite version of it that I've came across, I don't know, for whatever reason, just the 4, whatever the number is, you know,
Yeah.
I've really struggled with that one. It just doesn't do it for me. But the one that has helped is you go through sets of 8, right?
Yeah.
And so you'll start off with 1, you breathe in for 1, you breathe out for 2, breathe in for 3, breathe out for 4, and you do this all the way up to 8. You get up to 8, and then you go back down to 1. And the reason why you do it that way is because then it forces you to focus on the number, and it really helps pull your mind out of that, because it's not just breathing, but your mind's engaged in it.
Yeah. I haven't done that one in a really long time. Because there's always like ones that we have ourselves, just because like that is what we're used to doing, and those are the ones that we usually share. And then I love finding new ones. Humming, whether it's a tune, whether it's a tune or like a single tone, because we have like I love this thing. I love it. It's so interesting. So we have a vagus nerve that runs through our from like the behind the ear and all the way down to our
It's the gambling nerve.
Yeah, and
I'm sorry.
It
was just that I had to go for it.
So this nerve is responsible for like the brain, heart, digestive system. Like that's what connects like the brain and the gut. And that's why this all the brain gut health conversations.
Okay.
But it's also part of like it. By humming, you're activating the nerve, which is going to create that kind of like that soothing. Like it can help with the soothing sensations, because you're focusing on like the vibration that the humming is providing, and just kind of like focusing on that sensation instead of like whatever is causing the distress.
That really brings in some questions for me, right? Because Is there a specific place you're wanting that vibration to be felt?
You don't want to like have it like in a specific spot. You just want to like focus on wherever it starts for you for you. So like if, like for me, humming is going to be more in like my my upper chest and lower throat, and then you just kind of like feel that vibration kind of like go out. So you can kind of almost imagine like the distress is going out with that vibration.
Oh, I love
and
that.
being pulled out.
I know, like, for trans femme people that are working on their voice, you know, they're trying to get their voice more as they feel presentable, right? And in doing so, one of the techniques is like you don't want to feel the vibrations in your chest. You want them to be more up here, and because like I don't know, your voice is deeper. When I was going to do it, and I'm like, I do not want to do that. I'm going to come in like bear, right? But yeah, I mean, so I don't know. I was interested to see where are we finding that vibration.
I don't think there's like one specific spot that it talks about. It's just like whatever your body does naturally,
Okay, fair enough.
or wherever you want to put it.
That makes sense. You mentioned at the beginning that you help people find different resources and programs to help them. Are those just local resources and programs? Are there national ones that you're helping too? Or
I try to focus a little bit more on local, because national ones they're often overworked, busy, don't have the time, and local ones are.
underfunded?
Yeah, I mean, local ones are going to be the same as well, but it's going to be on a different level, if that makes sense. And so, like, and Portland's going to have a lot.
Right.
Like, there's, oh gosh, I don't even know. There's so many up here. Like, I'm not even going to try to list them all. Like, if you go to the OHSU website, they will have a link to show, like, all the resources in Oregon for, like, different support things. Yeah. At least for Oregon.
Fair enough.
Is there a program that you know of that, that can be considered, especially valuable, but is completely underutilized by the trans community?
What is it called? It's just like the basics, like Oregon's basic rights, that helps provide referrals and information for like legal navigation.
What do you mean by legal navigation?
So like if they're wanting like name change or gender change or any reports of like discrimination. The ACLU in Oregon, they will have some of those resources to help people to navigate some of those things. And as well as, what was the other thing? I feel like there was something else, but I can't remember what it was.
That's all right.
Yeah.
Can you think of, I don't want to get anybody into whatever specifics here, right?
Yeah.
But is there any instance that you can think of that was just such a big win with a trans person that you were able to provide this resource and it really made that big difference?
I've been pretty lucky with the trans clients that I've had so far. Like there's been people who already have built up their community and they have really good support around them now. It was interesting to see the difference between like pre-hormone treatment and like the process of like the pre-starting, been on it for a few months and seeing like how it's made a difference in their life.
Watch them. Well, how about this? Instead of me suggesting what they are, what have you seen? Like what are some of those changes that you've been able to see?
It's the way that they move. Like the movement in their body, it's a little less free and a little bit more
confident, and their demeanor's just brighter.
It's like being says like hearing Like, I looked at myself in the mirror today, and I didn't hate what I saw. Like,
Is that like a win?
yeah, yeah,
Good.
because like having like looking at a face that is not yours every day, and then finally recognizing like I can see it, and I was like, oh gosh, that's amazing.
That's fair.
And so you were able to facilitate, helping people just, the cliche saying, just be comfortable in their skin.
A lot of that was that person, to be honest. That was the work that they put in. We talk about what they want to talk about, and they take what they want to take.
I love that.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, I love that you're having these experiences, such as the social worker as a teen, that inspired you with that stuck with you, and now you have this trans person that watching their change, whatever, is really stuck with you. You mentioned earlier about it's important for people to have that community around them.
Yeah.
What about cis people and that community? How are ways that cis people can support trans people either in finding their community? Because I mean, we have listeners all across the country. Mm-hmm. So in other places, like anywhere they're at, how can cis people help them find a trans community and or just be that community?
Education. I think education is like knowing like what kind of resources are out there and what you can do. Like even just like noticing discrimination or harassment happening, right? Like how can you help that person? Like is it like distracting them from the person who's doing the harasser, and just like guide them out of that direction? Like that way you're not putting yourself in danger. Just in case, like, things escalate. Don't want that. But just, like, knowing how you want to interact with the people of the world. And how you can help have that guide on how you interact with trans people. Because, they're still people. Like, overall, people are people. I hope that makes sense because I lost my train of thought a little bit.
No, that's fine. It just sounds like, see something, say something.
Essentially, yeah. But I do think like educating yourself is really important because I've had to do a lot of education myself to learn more about like navigating things.
Right. I mean, everyone's journey starts somewhere.
Yeah, for sure.
Can we shift the topic a little bit and go into some of the more sensitive areas, like SA and SI, mm-hmm. right? I don't have the stats pulled up right now, but okay. I know people in the trans community specifically have higher rates of being assaulted and mm-hmm. or dealing with the ideations. Mm-hmm. So we have been talking right before we started that's not something you've necessarily dealt a lot with, but in the terms of SI, are mm-hmm. there any signs that people should be aware of about trans people and how to know that, hey, something's not going right with this person? Because, I mean, a lot of trans people that are coming out, and again, they're dealing with community that's mm-hmm. not there. They're dealing with these losses of different things. There's probably going to be a little, I think it's fair to say anyway, that there's going to be some depression that's involved in there. And so is there, what's the difference in what you're seeing between depression versus them getting to that point of being suicidal or ways that, I don't know, just what are some of the things people should look for so they know to help people?
Especially like being in an area that isn't supportive, whether it be friends, school, parents, family, all those other little areas. Kind of just like I said, I'm all about the movement of the body at the moment, anyways.
Just walk around like a windmill.
Yeah. No,
but yes.
But I would. But no, it's like
you want to give a demonstration of that. Oh, it's George.
That's funny.
No, but it's they just like you can kind of see it like in their body, like they just very small, like want to make themselves as small as possible, like kind of like what they want to disappear. So a lot of times that can look different ways, like isolation, withdrawing from even the supportive people, and pretty similar for like most warning signs, like giving stuff away, becoming happier, especially if they already have like a plan in place, right?
Well, that's interesting that
Yeah.
that becoming happier is one of them when depression is what they're dealing with.
Yeah, it's because they're thinking of that relief, and so they're like, oh yes, this relief is coming, especially if they already have a plan in place. So they'll feel like a lightness because they're like, oh yes, this relief is coming. I know when it's coming. I know how it's coming. Like they have that control over it, so they feel better, and so they're going from being really like depressed, possibly not even getting out of bed or wanting to get out of bed, to like you feel good. So it's like
And a really sudden change of
yeah,
it.
yeah, it's a very big jump.
Right.
Dang it, that was
Oh, it's
me.
okay.
I was like, I don't even know what
No,
that one
it
was.
The little screwy thingy.
Okay. A lot of people dealing with this stuff, they feel embarrassed, even including with SA, right? SI, they feel really embarrassed for whatever reasons. What are ways that people can come in and check in on somebody and say, hey, there's been this thing that's happened, or just a general check-in, right? But what are ways that people can come in and do that and be able to make the other person feel comfortable in that check-in so that they feel like, hey, this is a safe person and I can open up to them about this?
There is just saying like, hey, I just want to check in, and you seem like you're having a hard time. If you want, we can sit here in quiet, or if you want to talk, so that way they have that option. And giving and like coming from a place of like non-judgment.
So coming in and saying, hey, you need to feel all this other way because this is bad.
No, it's like I see you struggling, and I'm here to support you. It's about finding like being like showing that you're there to support, and just either letting them sit in it with like sitting in it with them, or allowing them to talk about what's going on.
Right, without pressure. Like it just, let them, let them open up if they want to, and let them know it's an option,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Right?
and just showing that they're not alone,
Sure.
because that's going to be the biggest factor.
Yeah, that could, make or break, really.
If someone is in crisis, what's the first step they should take?
If they're in crisis and they're able to, definitely reach out to somebody to talk to, whether that's like through the suicide hotlines, the Trevor Project, 988. If they're in therapy, their agency might have their own crisis number that they can contact as well. So that's always good to check out. There's county resources. Because I think, at least for Marion County in Oregon, there is a number you can call to like, hey, I'm having a hard time. They'll come out, check on you, take you to somewhere that you'll be safe if that is what's needed, or take you to another safe, like whatever safe place is. I think Lane County might have something similar as well.
And that's an option versus calling 911 and having that bombardment. Not everyone, feels comfortable talking to, a police officer, and they do prefer, they do prefer like a crisis unit.
Yeah, well, it's basically like a unit because it has like some sort of mental health professional and EMT or a medical person. At least in Marion County, it might be different for other places that has a similar program.
Earlier, you made a comment about the person that was, you got to watch them feel more comfortable in their body and start to feel more confident in how they walked. When they first came in, I imagined that there was a lot of hesitation in coming in to talk to someone about it, maybe even just not feeling like they're good enough to take up space. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah. I was getting because they were already making themselves small, kind of like have a couch, and it's like sitting in like one section, and just kind of like keep like
Sit in the corner.
yeah, basically.
Right. If there's another trans person out there that's feeling in that same kind of position, they don't know if they feel safe coming out, they don't feel good about the way they are currently, maybe they're even dealing with some SI, what would you tell them?
Can you repeat the question again?
Yeah. If there's a trans person, right? They're wanting to come out. Maybe they're feeling like they're not in a safe space. They're not feeling like they're good enough to take up space. They have a lot of depression, maybe even a little bit of SI. What would you tell them?
I said, just come into my office. It's okay. It's okay. Like, just have an idea of where you can go to find the help that you need. Even if it ends up not working out, at least taking that step into trying to get help. Because y'all are worth it. Like, you all deserve the space that you need. It is a hard step, especially if you don't feel like there is help. And I can't promise that you will find help, but at the same time, it is out there, something that you can be comfortable with.
I love that. It's allowing people to feel safe taking up space. If you have just one message left to leave for just anybody in and around the community, what would that be?
I wish I had time to prepare for this one, actually. Putting me on the spot. No, it's kind of go back to what I said a little bit ago. It's like, you guys do deserve space. You guys deserve to not have to fight for every single right that most people get. So it's allowing yourself to take up that space a little bit more each day, even though you're being told not to. Try to take it up as much as you can in that moment.
I love that.
I do too.
DJ, thank you for
Yes.
coming in today.
Yeah, of course.
I know there's like a little bit of hesitation before, but we really appreciate you coming in and putting yourself out there.
I am super nervous. I'm not a fan of public speaking or talking.
You did wonderful.
Thank you.
Yeah, this has felt like a really special episode to me. I've just really connected deep with a lot of what you said. For anybody listening, that's going to kind of bring us to the end of this episode. If we touched on any topics like discrimination, sexual abuse, suicidality in a way that was difficult for you, we highly encourage you to take some time right now to just pause, breathe, process, reconnect, ground with yourself. Your well-being matters. Your well-being matters. We care about you.
Yes.
And it's okay to step back and take care of yourself. If you or someone you know is struggling, you're not alone. There is the 988 Suicide and Crisis line. There's also the Trevor Project, and there's the Trans Lifeline that are some resources out there available. As far as the Transplanting Podcast goes, we'd love your support in helping this podcast grow. We've actually had really nice support. I've loved the messages coming in.
Yay.
Yeah, so for anyone listening, please subscribe, follow, like, share this episode. And if you know someone who'd be a great fit for this podcast, or if there's a topic you think that would be great to cover, or if you'd like to come on the podcast yourself, please reach out to me. The email is daphne@transplantingpodcast.com, or you can just go to transplantedpodcast.com. There's a little contact us section down at the bottom of the page. Go fill it out. We do see the comments. Otherwise, thank you for being here, for listening, being open to the important conversations. Again, Bear, DJ, thank you so much for coming
Of
on.
course, it was fun.
Yeah.
And from all of us here at Transplanted Podcast, welcome to the family.